In this session, we will try to uncover the iterative statements or loops. The first iterative statement is, or first loop is a while loop. We use while loop if we don't know the number of iterations in advance. So let's say, for example, we have a database and we need to pull the number of employees, or we need to pull the details of all the employees in the employee database. So we do not know how many employees are present. So we have to go for a while loop. Let's see how the syntax will look like. While the condition, and if it is true, then we execute a while block of code. So until the condition becomes false, the statements inside the while loop will be executed. Let's take an example. For example, we take a user input, a number, any number, and we have to give the sum of all the digits in that number. So let's write a program to calculate the sum of the digits in any given number. So the first thing we need to do is to use a scanner class, scanner SC new scanner system.in, so that the user will enter any number. Then let's say int n is SC next int. Then let's also define int d for digits and s for sum. And let's initialize sum to 0. Then use the while loop. And n not equal to 0. And then inside a while loop, d is equal to n modulo 10. And then sum is equal to sum plus digits, then n equal to n divided by 10. So let's see what happens when user enters a number, how the calculation happens. Let's print the final message like sum is s. For example, let's say, the user entered 1, 2, 3. So here the n value will be 1, 2, 3, and n is not equal to 0, so this condition is true. Now digit d is equal to n percentile 10, so we have to divide n with 10. So this will get assigned to d, which is 3. Now s is equal to s plus digit. So now we have to add 0 plus 3. Now s is 3. Now n divided by 10. This is n, and divided by 10, we have 12 here. So now n is 12. Now again, while checks n not equal to 0, which is 12 here, so which is true. So now 12 divide percentile 10. This time d is having 2. The second time d is 2. And now we have S3 already. Then we have to add d, which is 5. This time S is having 5. Then we have to calculate n divided by 10, and this time we have n equal to 1 for the second time. So the third time, while loop, n not equal to 0, which is 1, which is true, and then d percentile 10, you will have one reminder. So this time d will have 1. And then s is equal to s plus d. As we have 5, then plus d is 1, which is 6. And n divided by 10, and we do not have any number here. This time n is equal to 0. So it again checks n not equal to 0, which is false. Then it will go to the print line statement and sum s equal to 6. This is how the program gets executed. Let's try to compile and execute this. Compile, execute, enter. I didn't save this program. That's the reason it's taking the last. Compile, execute, enter any number 4, 5, 6, and the sum is 15. Let's enter 1, 2, 3. The sum is 6. Let's enter 6, 7. Sum is 15. This is a simple example for a while loop. Now let's move on and try to explore another kind of loop called do while loop. If we don't know the number of iterations in advance, but minimum one-time execution is required. Then we should go for a do while loop. So let's look at the syntax. Do, then some blocks of code, and then while, then condition. So it will execute these lines of code before even this condition is evaluated. So minimum one time it will execute even if this condition is false. So let's see a simple example to understand the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. For example, let's say I have int a equal to 19 and b equal to 15, and let's say a is less than b, then let's try to increment a and print it. So let's print a plus plus. So let's try to execute this program and see how the result will look like. Java C test.java and then execute. And if you see A is 19, which is greater than 15, and you don't see while condition is true, and that's the reason you don't see any result. Let's change this to a do while loop. So do while at least one time it gets executed even if the condition is false. So compile. I missed semicolon here. Compile and then execute. So A is printed and it's incremented after the print because this is a post increment. Let's try to change it to a pre-increment. This time it should print at 20. Let's compile and execute. This is how you execute the do loop at least once, even if the condition is false. So in those cases, you will go for a do while loop. Let's move on and look at for loop. So for loop, if we know the number of iterations in advance, then we go for a for loop. So let's see the syntax. For, then initialization, then conditional, then updation. Then open the loop, then we have body of the loop, then close the loop. So let's see how this for loop works with an example. For example, you need to print a message, let's say 10 times. So let's say, for example, hi, welcome to Java world. I want to print this message for 10 times. So I'll just use for loop and then int I equal to 1, then I less than or equal to 10, then I plus plus. So let's try to compile and then execute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. This is how a for loop is used. I'll stop here and continue.